Nexo Weight Championship? You better be!
¡Legendario! Bienvenidos a la catedral de las mejores batallas del Nexo. ¡Épico!
We're going to Nexomania, y'all!
Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be your host, The Sound, and tonight I am excited to bring a match of the Nexomania format tournament for your viewing pleasure. We've got Kentucky Fried Falstad going up against Gambit Gaming tonight. Gambit Gaming are a guest opponent, so when we get to showing off the standings, they won't be featured there, but that's because they're pitching in, making sure that our registered teams have an appropriate number of matches to play against. Let's talk a little bit about the tournament format and these teams. It is a play 3 series, not a best of 3 series. So we are assured to see at least 2 games. The third could technically be forfeit by either team, but in my experience, most teams do opt to play all 3 games in the series, so we are likely to get a full 3 games of viewing pleasure this evening. And a little bit about the teams. Kentucky Fried Falstad finished top of their group in the lead-up tournament, Road to Nexomania, that is also put on by Can't Counterpick Stupid. Can't Counterpick Stupid, a great organization running educational and community events along with these competitive tournaments. So I would highly recommend checking them out and joining their Discord. You can use the command !CCS in chat to get that information. And on the other side of the battleground, the visiting challengers, Gambit Gaming, they did not participate in the Road to Nexomania tournament series, and so the last competitive placing that we have from them was for the last season of NGS, Season 16, where they finished first in the regular season for Division C West and went on to be the Coastal Champions for that division. So 2 strong competitors ready to face off against one another, and I'm excited to get to see how these 2 match up. I don't know if that they've played against one another before, so this might be an inaugural battle between the 2. Let's take a look at the group standings as they exist currently. We can see Loktar Pogar are in first place with 3 points. It is a tight contest, though. The placing 1 through 3 are all decided by head-to-head matchups. And we've got the Kentucky Fried Falstad team. They stand to gain as many as 3 points tonight. It would skyrocket them into the lead. CCS's Nexomania tournament is unique in that all matches are played on the same day. So we will, by the end of this evening's block, have a little bit more differentiation amongst the standings. And this match has heavy implications in said standings. So that should be a fun one. Very excited to see how it shakes out. Let's take a look at the map draft possibilities here. And another important note about Nexomania is that all battlegrounds are legal. So if you have a hankering for Blackheart's game, or maybe you miss the days of Hanamura and Warhead Junction being in the Storm League rotation, this is the perfect tournament for this style of player. I can't say I count myself among those group, among that group rather. It's not my favorite, but one of the great things about CCS and Nexomania is that they do offer the community a competitive format for playing these more obscure maps, which is pretty exciting. And also, importantly, there are no map bans. So even with a wider map pool, the goal that exists for Nexomania is to potentially shake up the competitive meta a bit, and so it wouldn't be much fun to ban maps. So instead, every single battleground is available at all times. It's pretty exciting stuff, and honestly, I couldn't begin to tell you about Haunted Mines because I've never played it. So my meta insights on some of these battlegrounds might be a little shakier than others. I'm gonna enjoy watching them with you all, but I'm not so positive about how they are gonna shake out. And it looks like we do have our first map selected for Game 1 of the series. We're going to, let me pull this up. Okay, we are headed to Infernal Shrines. We'll just find out. Okay, great. Excellent. So that is where we are for game number 1, and we are started up in the draft, so let's get into it here. See how our teams play against one another in this early draft phase of the game. Having done a little bit of scouting on these two teams, both given their extraordinarily strong runs in the regular season of NGS last season, which is the best scouting data I have available for them, both have lots of power picks to go to. The Anduin ban from Kentucky Fried Falstad definitely is a target towards one of the stronger healers in Gambit Gaming's pool. And on the other side, the Blaze ban, also a favored pick by Kentucky Fried Falstad. Notably, Hogger is pretty absent from both of these teams' hero pools, so even though we're on Infernal Shrines, we might not see the Null banned out. Looks like it's going to be Stukov banned, so a strong targeted ban approach onto the healer pool. We can expect to see a first pick healer from Kentucky Fried Falstad given their 2 bans here. I would expect it to be a Brightwing, given their preference for it, as well as Gambit Gaming's. It would be a good pickup for them and a denial to their opponents. Final ban here is going to be Johanna. Another excellent hero for the battleground. And there it is, that first pick Brightwing that we were talking about. We'll see the response, an immediate Vala, and Hogger as well. Excellent. So, despite not playing much of it in the regular season of NGS, Hogger makes it through the draft for Gambit Gaming here on Infernal Shrines. Perhaps one of the best heroes for capturing the objective, given his rotational angles available with his Hog Wild ability. Murden and Sylvanas, the response. Okay, so we've got a little bit of damage that can pressure a front line with Sylvanas, as well as a sturdy front line for Murden. No offlaner for Kentucky Fried Falstad yet, so I imagine we'll see Gambit Gaming ban that, and it's going to be a target onto the Malthael. This, of course, still leaves Leoric available, as well as Dahaka, I believe both of which are comfort picks for KFF. And with no tank or healer available or picked up for Gambit Gaming, I expect to see another healer ban here, really narrowing that pool even more. It's going to be the Diablo ban instead. Excellent. Next two picks here, a main tank and a healer still available. We could see a Lucio pickup here, as well as perhaps an Anubarak. I think the Unstoppable from... Ooh, ETC, spicy. Nice. Not what I would have expected. As well as Malfurion. Malfurion offering great AoE control with his Entangling Roots. Being able to close off entire areas of a shrine while fighting over the objective is a pretty powerful tool. Along with his team, or multiple target cleanse, soft cleanse. Junkrat and Ragnaros. Okay. Ragnaros for the offlane and Junkrat bringing a better AoE answer for Shrine Clear. An excellent pickup here. Last flex damage now available for Gambit Gaming. I would love to see a little bit more burst damage to pair with the ETC here. Outside of just the Vala. It's going to be Maev. Excellent. Okay. Kind of all in on the AoE. Very exciting. Let's take a look at these two drafts. For Kentucky Fried Falstad, Ragnaros strikes me as a potential weak link in their draft. His ability to secure the shrine using his Molten Core trait is pretty solid, but he is going to be weak in rotations if Gambit Gaming decide to set up any sort of gank pressure there. So that could be a weak link for KFF. With that said, I think their objective capture ability is very strong with the Junkrat and Ragnaros picks. So if you had to twist my arm, I'd say it's a pretty even draft. As it turns out, I'm quite flexible, so twisting my arm will not get me to pick a side. But it's all in how these teams execute, so let's get in and see how they do it. Getting into our first game here on Infernal Shrines and introducing our teams. Here on the left in blue, we've got Kentucky Fried Falstad. Conflicted playing Ragnaros, Hax on Brightwing, Silverbell playing Sylvanas, Krogdon on Junkrat, and Honey Badger playing Murin. To the right in red, we've got Gambit Gaming. Krizo playing Malfurion, Pearl Simon on Maev, Northern Touch on ETC, Chelsea on Hogger, and Alfie playing Vala. As we get into our first wave of the game, we can see down in bot lane, Kentucky Fried Falstad setting up for a little bit of a Sylvanas push. We'll see Gambit Gaming are going to sniff that out pretty quickly. Tether in from Maev, catches two. The root goes a little wide, however. So no major fireworks and a little bit of damage done on that bot tower. Level 1 talents. We've got Prog Rock for ETC looking to stack up globes. We've also got Creed of the Hunter for Alfie on the Vala, doing a lot of damage to Silverbell there and drawing out the right-wing phase shift. Here's the rotation into mid. Northern Touch is mounted up, gets the slide onto Conflicted. There's the Tether and the root, but it's Vala who's going to fall first blood going over to Kentucky Fried Falstad there, and that is one Gambit stack taken away off of Creed of the Hunter there. A great pickup for KFF in the early going of it. 1 minute is passed, which means we're on to our camps. We can see Pearl Simon getting most of that camp done all by themselves thanks to that level 1 Naisha's Memento, really amplifying the amount of macro pressure that Maiev can put onto the battleground. In bot lane, we've got KFF getting to this neutral camp, but they've split a little wide here, opting for both camps simultaneously. A little bit of a greedy play, macro-wise, and Gambit Gaming are going to sniff it out. And it looks like they are bringing Hogger down as well, so this is a 5v4. Great route onto 2 with the pull. Honey Badger gets the phase shift, will live, hacks is body blocked. Alfie, do they have another auto? It's not going to be enough to take out the Brightwing. So a great 5-hero collapse secures the neutral camp there. It's going to cost Hogger a wave of soak up top, but securing the camp and the kill makes it a pretty solid trade. Level 4s available on both sides, and it's pinned down for Pearl Simon on Maiev. If this quest gets completed, it is a big damage power spike. So we will keep track of that throughout the game. We've also got Sylvanas opting for Possession at level 4. Anything else out of the ordinary? Rejuvenation from Malfurion. All pretty standard stuff. Pearl Simon looking to interrupt rotations there, get the tether onto 2. And the objective activates here in the bot lane. And importantly, we can see Gambit Gaming got their Shaman camp out before this objective, whereas KFF did not. So that is a important macro decision. If Gambit Gaming are able to stall out this objective for a reasonable period of time, that camp is going to get a lot done. A lot of damage in CC going on in Conflicted, but the phase shift comes in. Doesn't matter. Maiev gets reset after reset. Pearl Simon taking down 2 there, along with the auto attack damage from Alfie. So not only are they ahead on kills now, Gambit Gaming are also going to be ahead on the Shrine here shortly. And they've got the camp pushing up in top lane. It's going to require KFF to split one off, and we can see Junkrat headed up to the top lane. Krogdon looking to clean up this camp. Unlikely that we will see a recontest on this objective from Kentucky Fried Falstad. A great engage from Northern Touch and Pearl Simon there to get the double kill to lead off the Shrine. Level 7 talents are available. We can see Nature's Cure from Krizzo, a important team-wide survivability power spike, being able to cleanse multiple targets, as well as Pinball Wizard from Northern, looking to amp up the burst damage, as well as the wave clear that ETC brings. Mortar Punisher isn't going to get too much done here. It's a lot of damage onto Honey Badger, but Hax is able to get the phase shift in time. Of course, this has pushed KFF pretty far off their bot fort, so Gambit Gaming are going to pick up the first structure of the game here. A great result for a first objective Punisher, not something that you necessarily expect out of securing the first objective of the game. Pearl Simon gets the tether in onto Conflicted. They have fallen very low, likely doing a fair bit of dueling with Chelsea. One of the better ways for an offlaner to deal with Ragnaros' threat on the macro front is just to take away his hit points. A little bit of a faster pickup onto the camp, but not with enough time to invade. So Gambit Gaming are ahead here, and they've got a pretty strong vision advantage in bot lane. They're also narrowing the gap to level 10 here and unlocking their heroics. We can see that is thanks largely to their hero experience lead. And that unlocks the heroic talent tier. Taking a look, we've got Tranquility for Malfurion, Mosh Pit from ETC, Hortipult from Hogger, Rain of Vengeance from Vala, and Containment Fist from Maiev. Heroics are near for Kentucky Fried Falstad, and they're going to play it safe while they don't have them. We can see Gambit Gaming sharking around, trying to find anyone from KFF out of position. KFF doing a great job to stay very safe close to their walls. and unlocking the heroic talent tier for themselves. We've got Avatar from Muradin, Lava Wave from Ragnaros, as we can all hear, Blink Heal, and Wailing Arrow, along with Riptire. So nothing too out of the ordinary. We've got a phase shift onto Silverbell there. Not entirely sure if that was intentional. Next objective will be in the top lane. We can see both teams just trying to posture and keep the macro pressure up. We've got a Root and Boop onto Northern Touch. They do still have the power slide, so they're able to get out without too much hassle. With the Lava Wave clearing up bot lane, it did require Pearl Simon to get down there for a wave. And we've got a potential 5v4 here. Damage onto Krogdon now. Northern a little bit far ahead of their team. The Wailing Arrow lands onto 2, and there's the Junkrat Riptire also catching 2. This is a little bit of whiffing back and forth as far as heroics are concerned. So 2 used on both sides, the Riptire and Wailing Arrow, along with the Containment Disc and Tranquility, but no fireworks as of yet. There is our top shrine activated. This is not as great an objective for Hogger, notably. There aren't really great bounces as compared with the other 2. So this is certainly a relatively well-favored position for KFF. They're able to get use of the Molten Core here as well. And we can see that in the shrine count here. There's the Avatar from Muradin. Northern still has the Mosh Pit available. Pearl Simon in onto 2, gets the tether. There's Conflicted. No body block available. And the solo Mosh onto the Muradin here, along with a 2-person Root. Hogger in over the top, gets the kill onto Sylvanas. Honey Badger getting chased now. Alfie will take them down. Hax on the low side gets taken out by Pearl Simon there. Krogdon looking for Chelsea and Pearl Simon with the Riptire, but Conflicted is going to fall here. So it's all red in the kill feed. Well played to Gambit Gaming there. A excellent route from Krizzo, setting up the resets for Pearl Simon on the Maiev. Checking in, they do have 2 stacks of pin down, so that Q damage is really ramping up there. As long as they're able to keep layering that CC, it is going to be a relatively easy time for them to deal with the relatively small HP pools of KFF. Level 13's just around the corner for the home team. On Gambit Gaming side, we've got Encore from ETC, looking for cooldown reduction on Mosh Pit. Pummel from Hogger, a big power spike at level 13, as well as Tempered by Discipline from Vala, opting for auto attack healing rather than spell armor. Northern Touch booped over the wall into a root here, as well as a Polymorph and Wailing Arrow, but it's not going to be enough. ETC walks out alive. Containment Disc goes onto the Muradin here. A Riptire to peel, but the tether comes in. Hax able to phase shift and save Honey Badger. So the keep front wall will go down, but Gambit Gaming aren't going to make any further progress here. But importantly, they've got level 16s just around the corner, likely to get it here in mid lane. Now a full talent tier lead in their hands. This, of course, unlocks Manticore for Alfie on the Vala, a big damage power spike, giving percentage-based damage. A great cleanse from Krizzo to deny the Stormbolt. Honey Badger taking so much punishment will go down there. A great set of CC chains from Gambit Gaming. Their synergy on this battleground is really sharp. Pearl Simon in onto 2, unable to get further resets. If they had gotten one more reset onto the right wing, I think that's another kill for Gambit Gaming. 8-1 in the kill feed there. So pretty one-sided. And checking in on our experience, they are in the lead every way you measure it. Chelsea doing a great job to take care of all of the camps available to them on the map, as Hager is wont to do. So we can see leading in experience on all categories now. It's going to be a relatively long road for KFF to catch back up here. Which isn't to say they can't do it. It's just going to take a lot of patience here. Pearl Simon in onto Conflicted, but it looks like it's mostly one-on-one. Conflicted is doing a lot of damage here. There's the Hortipult in. Oh yeah, Conflicted, they're going to turn it around on him. Chelsea bailing Pearl Simon on the Maiev out there with a great Hortipult staggering blow combo. It did cost 2 heroics, using both Hortipult and Containment Disc there, but missing Ragnaros for 20 seconds is going to put KFF further onto the back foot as they look for their level 16 talents. And it gives Gambit Gaming all the room in the world they need to set up on this mid-keep wall. Krogdon does bring a lot of great anti-siege with the Junkrat, but if KFF aren't careful, Krizo is likely to catch them in another entangling route. So the whole keep front wall going down. CC in onto Maiev. There's another route onto Honey Badger. Booped back in. Northern Touch booped back in. There's the Polymorph. Northern Touch will go down. An important kill. Silence onto the Malfurion. Conflicted is extraordinarily low, as is Honey Badger. Alfie really peppering everyone down with these auto attacks. And Chelsea has joined the fray. There's a lot of camp pressure up in the top lane. Containment Disc out onto the Muradin just to get everyone out alive. Honey Badger falling low here. Alfie doing a lot of damage on the front line. And the bottom objective is activated by Gambit Gaming. Level 16s have been secured by KFF. Ragnaros completing that E-build. Honey Badger gets a stun onto Alfie here in the bush, but I don't think they win this 1v1 at this point in the game. Trading a lot of their HP. They'll heal back up thanks to their second wind trait, but not necessarily where you want to start if you are KFF. They've got Brightwing up in top lane, soaking up, trying to even out the experience a bit, but with 30 Shrine minions already going over to Gambit Gaming, it is unlikely that KFF are going to be able to secure this objective. Pearl Simon, Tever out onto the 3. There's the root follow-up and the Mosh to boot. 2 kills, both Junkrat and Brightwing go down. A great Hortipult. Silverbell is able to Haunting Wave their way out to safety. A great engagement once again by Pearl Simon on the Maiev. The tether to root combo that Gambit Gaming have shown throughout the game is as crisp as you could ask for. And now with 20s in their hands and the Storm talent here, Gambit Gaming are going to try and get the most out of this Frozen Punisher that they can. Speaking of Storm talents, we've got nothing too out of the ordinary. Pearl Simon over the wall here onto Honey Badger. Honey Badger's going to eat the root and goes down. The auto attacks from Alfie a little bit too much to deal with. The stun onto Conflicted. The phase shift getting... Oh, it doesn't get cancelled. RIP for Brightwing. Another 3 dead for Kentucky Fried Falstad, and that is likely to be Gambit Gaming posturing up for core. Pearl Simon not done, trying to fend off Krogdon and Silverbell as much as they can. Krogdon goes down. Wow, so much damage out of this Maiev. Absolute amazing play from Gambit Gaming here in Game 1. Challengers they may be, but slouches they certainly are not. A spicy start to this 3-game series. GG and well played to both of our teams. The damage profile was something that I was a little bit skeptical of on the side of Gambit Gaming, but as it turns out, a good Maiev player is hard to beat. We can take a look at our post-game stats here. See what we have. Junkrat definitely able to do respectable damage here with the 40,000, but nothing compared to Vala's 50, almost 58k there. And really the tale of the game is shown in the kill feed, frankly. 15-2 in favor of Gambit Gaming. It was challenging for them to survive the snap engagements of Pearl Simon and the follow-up CC from Krizzo. Any talents out of the ordinary? Not so common to see Storm Shield from ETC, but a solid pickup nonetheless. So very well played for Game 1 from our Challenger team. We can update the scoreboard here and head over to the map selection screen to see what battleground we will head to next. Excellent. So a pick and win on their battleground is not a bad place to start for Gambit Gaming. I was definitely curious to see how these teams would match up after their regular season performance in the Nexus Gaming series. Both teams were able to finish first place during the regular season of League play, and both went on to have really strong postseason runs. Kentucky Fried Falstad were actually the winners of the grand finals for Division D, defeating their counterparts on the West Coast. So they are a strong team despite being in a potential lower division than Gambit Gaming. Gambit Gaming, however, also a strong team. They made it to the grand finals as well in their division. A strong showing from them in this first map kind of shows why they are such a force. And it looks like we are going to set up for our second lobby here. And we're going to be headed to Garden of Terror. We'll see who picked it and get that information to y'all as soon as we've got it. For those that have joined since the first game started, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. I am pleased to be bringing you these CCS matches. Really excited to have a full 3-game series with 2 divisional powerhouses from the Nexus Gaming series. And make sure that you let them know in chat who you're rooting for. I know I always get a kick out of going back and watching the VOD and seeing people cheering for me when I'm playing. I would be shocked if these 2 teams don't want to hear your excited cheers as well. All right, and this second map also chosen by Gambit Gaming. Great. A very different map, a very different battleground from Infernal Shrines. The objective is a lot slower on Garden of Terror. There's a lot less of a focus on raw team fighting compositions because of the slow pace and relative weakness of the objective mechanic. So I'll be interested to see if that changes up the draft priority for either team. Kentucky Fried Falstad's namesake is a strong choice for the battleground and one that they have favored in the regular season of NGS play. So I'll be interested to see if the eponymous Kentucky Fried Griffin riding dwarf doesn't show up here. Of course, if we think about last draft, we can say that both Pearl Simon and Chelsea's picks on Maiev and Haga respectively still get a lot of great value here on Garden of Terror, both with how much macro they can contribute through Hager's baseline camp taking ability and Maiev's Naisha's Memento talent. So let's see if we get an adaptation from Kentucky Fried Falstad to try and deny those picks from Gambit Gaming after how strong a showing we saw from them on them last game. If I'm on the side of Kentucky Fried Falstad, I definitely would ban the Maiev. I thought Chelsea's Hager play was also very strong, but a lot of that team fight snap engagement came through the Maiev Umbral Binds, you know, the Shade of Vengeance in, and the root follow-up from Krizo, always on point. And there is that Maiev ban. Yeah, I think it is a great decision from KFF. I'll bet Pearl has plenty of other strong heroes in their pool, but Maiev is a tricky one to deal with if you're unaccustomed to playing against her. She kind of warps what positioning you are allowed to do as a team. Gambit Gaming going to stick with that Blaze ban. Not surprised. I think Conflicted played the most games on Blaze during the normal season of NGS, so it is a favored hero from them and one that they have a lot of success with. I think it was above a 90% win rate when I checked the stats. It was good. It was a good hero. Stukov ban here for KFF. We'll see how Gambit respond. Johanna ban. Excellent. First pick. Will they continue with the first pick Brightwing? It's going to be Anduin instead. Able to reposition his allies with his Leap of Faith trait. Both repositioning and cleansing CC. It's a strong ability and might be the answer. There's the Hager pickup again. Yeah, and Deckard. Great. So Hager, an obvious choice for Chelsea here on the battleground. I'd love to see Kentucky Fried Falstad pick up some macro pressure of their own. Perhaps that Falstad that I mentioned earlier, or a different offlaner that also excels at grabbing camps. We saw the Malthael ban from Gambit Gaming. All right, they're going to pick away the Vala and stick with the Muradin. I think a great denial pick as well. And there's the Malthael ban once again. Gambit Gaming definitely want to limit the macro ability that Conflicted will bring to the side of KFF. No tank or healer secure, or I'm sorry, there is a healer. No tank available or selected yet by Gambit Gaming. I expect to see a tank ban here. The mosh pits were great from Northern Touch last series, but they are going to stick with their Diablo ban. I believe Diablo is a bit of a signature hero for Northern. So not surprising to see KFF keep with their strategy in making sure that Gambit Gaming don't get their hands on the Lord of Terror. Next two picks here. Alright, we've got Leoric and Dahaka. Ah, yes. Oops, all bruisers. And Giblets has already called it in chat. This is a rather strong composition. The meaty health bars and sustain that Deckard brings with their level 4 talent Ruby for a heavy melee composition is pretty bonkers. So we'll see how Gambit Gaming pilot this composition. Sonya and Thrall. Okay. The Thrall, not a bad response, bringing some percent-based damage and a sturdier damage-dealing hero rather than another ranged. We'll see what Northern opts for here on the last pick. We are unlikely to see a traditional tank pick, I would think. Probably want something with a little more damage on it. It's going to be the Imperious. Imperious main tank. Okie doke. So let's take a look at these drafts. Anduin, Vala, Murd, and Sonya Thrall into Oops All Bruisers. A funny strat, one that is a little specific, developed originally by Beat Gen, another team in our amateur NA HOTS circles. Despite having seen it played, I never know what the strategy is with this draft. It's always lots of fun because you get lots of trait value from Leo and lots of Deckard Ruby value, but I couldn't begin to predict who's going to be the winner of this one, given how wacky the strategy will be. But let's introduce the teams. Here on the left, in blue, we've got Kentucky Fried Falstad. Conflicted on Sonya, Hax on Vala, W Star on Anduin, Honey Badger on Muradin, and Krogdon playing Thrall. And to the right in red, we've got Gambit Gaming on all the Bruisers. Krizo playing Deckard, Pearl Simon on Imperious, Northern Touch on Leoric, Chelsea on Dahaka, and Alfie repping the Hogger. As we get into our level 1 fight in mid, we can check in on talents. Hax also opting for the Creed of the Hunter there. Lots of CC and damage in onto Muradin, and that's going to be first blood going over to Gambit Gaming. The CC available to this composition is pretty oppressive. So not so surprising to see all of that go onto Muradin and secure that first kill. No talent picked for Conflicted just yet, opting for block at level 1 there. Krogdon playing it very safe behind their gate here. W Star able to dodge, but doesn't dodge the drag. Chelsea secures another kill for Gambit Gaming. Northern trying to persuade Hax and Honey Badger that bot lane is not where they want to be, and they are going to get aggressive with that kill. Krizo and Pearl Simon getting onto the left side siege camp. It's a 4-hero commitment from Gambit Gaming. Another drag lands onto Krogdon, but it's going to be the kill onto Leoric. He'll be back shortly through his Undying trait. And there's a great spear in onto Krizo. Conflicted making the rotation, and that's going to be 2 response kills for Kentucky Fried Falstad. Fantastic. Hero experience now in their favor. Minion experience a little bit in favor of Gambit Gaming, however. Checking in on bot lane, Pearl Simon falling very low. Honey Badger jumped over the wall. I don't think they meant to do that. They're gonna die. That fort shot will take them out. But Vala has already done a great job stacking up her level 1 here on the Creed of the Hunter. Already almost to the first full reward at 50 stacks of the quest. And level 4 talents now unlocked. This is a big power spike for Gambit Gaming's comp. Ruby from Deckard really amping up the survivability that all of their beefy frontline melee heavy heroes will have. On the other side, we've got Piercing Light from Anduin, Feral Resilience from Thrall. Okay, trying to deal with some of the auto attack damage that Gambit Gaming brings. And with the seed spawning here in the bot lane, it's great to have Gambit Gaming's global up here in top lane as far away as possible. Kentucky Fried Falstad don't even want to try and contest, given how poor the objective spawn position is for them, opting instead to clear top. And, oh, a spear in onto Krogden. W-Star does still have the Leap of Faith and doesn't have to burn it. So, a great bit of patience there from the support for Kentucky Fried Falstad. W-Star looking very comfortable on the Anduin pick. Level 7's just around the corner here. Honey Badger shows up, gets the Stormbolt onto Pearl Simon, unable to secure the body block, however. Hax vaults in. Yep. That was bold. That was a bold vault in from the Vala. But then again, I have never played Vala, so I trust Hax certainly to know the limits of the hero far better than I. Next objective is spawning in top lane. It is a neutral objective spawn, and there are all of those rubies that we were talking about being important. Alfie gets the stun onto Honey Badger. A great spin to chase. Oh, Pearl Simon gets the spear. There's Muradin dead again. W-Star cannot pull themselves out of danger. Oh, Chelsea's tongue! That was an insane drag from the Dahaka player. Very well played from Chelsea there. Level 7's on both sides. Seeing if we've got anything out of the ordinary. Nothing too surprising. Emerald, and it's going to be a dig from Chelsea, stopping Conflicted from getting the back cap on the objective. Really heads-up macro play from Gambit Gaming, and some convincing teamfight wins here. Able to secure that drag onto the Vala was an absolute coup for Gambit Gaming. Able to put a little more pressure there and knock one of the Gambit stacks away from Creative the Hunter at level 1. We've got a 3v3 here in mid. Just looking to get Hax as stacked as possible, I would imagine. And all camps. Oh, there's Pearl Simon going in. Does Honey Badger still have the jump? Looks like they don't need it because W-Star gets the pull and narrowly dodges the root. Another great stun here. Hax able to vault away. So, great CC, but not as much damage to follow it up for Gambit Gaming. They are nearing their heroic talents here. So it's going to be interesting to see how this next objective phase plays out. Kentucky Fried Falstad are favored positionally, with it spawning closer to their mid fort, but without heroics in their hands, I don't know that they'll be able to get much in the way of safe stalls. With only one ranged damage dealer, I don't know that they're going to be able to get much done there. Speaking of heroics, we've got Stay a While and Listen, Wrath of the Angiris from Pearl Simon, nice. Entomb from Leoric, Isolation from Dahaka, and Hortipult for Hogger. Heroics just around the corner, spear in on the Krogden. Honey Badger able to peel with the Stormbolt. Pearl Simon does not pull the trigger. Ooh, just narrowly misses W-Star there with the heroic. Hax able to get a Rain of Vengeance in, but now Alfie's stuck in the Entomb. They'll go down. Sleep onto the Honey Badger there. Has to jump out after receiving 2 hero commitment now. Silence onto Honey Badger. Is there a drag to follow it up? There it is. All the while, the objective was captured by Gambit Gaming. The fight rages on, though. We've got Pearl Simon chased down, going down to Hax on the Vala. But, of course, with the objective pushing, it's a lot of damage that mid-fort has taken. We've only got Conflicted here to respond to it, so that fort is likely to go down. Krogden and W-Star will be able to clean up the rest of this wave before too much damage gets done to mid-fort. But with a siege camp and fairly healthy minion wave, I expect Gambit Gaming to continue pressuring until, yeah, the mid-fort goes down. Checking in on top, Chelsea has a large wave behind them, so I imagine this is going to be curtains for the top fort as well. Drawing tower aggro, and we've got Hax caught in rotation here. Alfie catapults back over the wall. Pearl Simon gets the root. Oh my gosh, Hax doesn't have any vault available to them anymore, but they're able to make it out alive. Chelsea gets the drag onto Honey Badger. A great pull from W-Star, but Northern Touch is here. They've got the Drain Life on the Muradin. Are they able to finish it up? Avatar gets popped. Pearl Simon dies on the top side. So 2 forts down for Kentucky Fried Falstad, but they're able to make a decent amount of comeback XP happen through those kills. neck and neck now with hero experience and mercenary and minion experience. So pretty much on pace with Gambit Gaming to the level 13 talent tier. We can see with all of the camps back up on the map for contest, Gambit Gaming gets right to them. Prizzo and Alfie working on the Bruiser camp and Siege camp respectively. As we scale later, Kentucky Fried Falstad do unlock their percent damage abilities. The, a drag now lands onto Honey Badger. Alfie over the wall onto Hacks here. No damage to follow up, but they do get the Entomb onto W-Star. That's the Desperate Prayer, and Light Bomb catches two. The sleep lands on, but Honey Badger really far forward, taking so much damage. Another great pull, but the silence onto Sonya will be the end of Conflicted there. Excellent isolation usage by Chelsea, landing that heroic with aplomb. Level 13s are unlocked. Another pretty big power spike that Deckard brings to the melee heavy, auto attack heavy composition through Ancient Blessings. It's kind of like a baby bloodlust, allowing each hero to heal off of their auto attacks and amplifying the auto attack damage they do. We've also got an auto attack build for Leoric. So Leo adding a little bit more pressure to the front line. Honey Badger has been having a lot of trouble staying alive here in these fights, and that will not get any easier with Spectral Leech online. Another objective capture going over to Gambit Gaming. Kentucky Fried Falstad are on even talent tiers, but the map is not in a good state for them. We've got Hogger grabbing another camp, and Pearl, Simon, and Northern Touch looking to loop down onto Conflicted here. They do still have Entomb available, so we'll see if Sonya is able to make it out alive here. I'm not liking their odds, especially with the fort having gone down here, but Kentucky Fried Falstad do reinforce the position. A 5-hero commitment from both teams, and they are on an even talent here and ready to fight this next objective capture. Looks like Alfie is not super interested in joining this one. We can see them sneaking off to the top lane there, trying to put additional pressure onto the top keep now that the top keep wall is already down. Conflicted takes the drag, but a great sleep from Prizzo catches all of Kentucky Fried Falstad. It's a full retreat. Pearl Simon is falling low. The Entomb does not land. Alfie gets a stun, and a great loot horde will block off this choke. W-Star caught in the back. That drag will secure it. Another kill going over to Gambit Gaming. Conflicted eats the isolation out of the spin. It gives Sonya a real hard time with no regen available to her. So it was a great fight for Kentucky Fried Falstad to take when Gambit Gaming were split up, but Gambit Gaming, thanks to a great stay a while and listen from Prizzo, were able to kite out until Alfie joined them with level 16 talents in hand. We've got additional CC now, Deckard bringing the Herodric Staff, or Bonk, if you will. Pearl Simon spears in onto Hacks, and another stun onto Honey Badger. Wow. So much explosive damage from these heroes. Additional percent damage has unlocked for Gambit Gaming with Headbanger at level 16 from Alfie on the Hogger. With this objective capture, we are at 2 out of 3 seeds in favor of Gambit Gaming. With it having spawned in bot center, that means the next one will be top and on a side. Chelsea grabs Muradin here. Pearl Simon unable to follow up. Alfie jumping in here, taking all of the tower aggro and dies for it. Pearl Simon caught under the towers as well. Gambit Gaming really overplaying their hand here. Honey Badger looking to chase, but another huge sleep from Prizzo will secure a little bit more room Great Stormbolt onto the Muradin. They will peel themselves with the Heraldric Staff, but it's not going to be enough. A third kill goes over to Kentucky Fried Falstad. A lot of comeback XP for them after that, and right before the seed spawns here in the top left, a great spawn for them means I doubt they will fall back to it in a timely fashion. I hope to see them continue this hard push here in bot lane and try and even out the structural deficit they're at. Capturing 1 of 3 seeds is not going to put them very far ahead here. So I love to see their further commitment to the bot lane. Gambit Gaming are still ahead in the experience realm. It's only by a smidge. They've got way more mercenary experience as well as structure experience and passive XP. Their passive XP gain will continue to be faster. Ooh, there's the great stun into stun. Lands onto 2, root onto Northern Touch. A real fast 2 kills. Amazing sundering into the light bomb. Alfie looking for a Hortipult or a Hog Wild out, will not make it. 3 more kills going over to Kentucky Fried Falstad. The percent damage unlocked for them at level 16, definitely doing a lot to chew through these meaty health pools. Not just Manticore from Vala at 16, but also Giant Slammer from Sonya, able to do percent damage. And Alpha Wolf, of course, yeah. So Thrall, Sonya, and Vala all bringing a lot more direct damage to these big health pools. With no stay a while and listen to shut down that engagement, and with how snappy the sundering into the light bomb was, that was a really impressive engagement from KFF there. Of course, this objective spawn here in bottom right is not a great one to contest. They are close to their storm talents, though, so Kentucky Fried Falstad will probably still go for it. It would also secure the plant terror phase for Gambit Gaming, so it is in KFF's interest to get up and contest here. And we can see Gambit Gaming understand that it's not an issue for them to give this. They've got Dahaka up in top lane, getting them all closer to their storm talents. Ooh, they're pretty far out on the map now. Honey Badger looking for Pearl Simon. They jump over the wall and land the Stormbolt. Level 20, they went for Hardened Shield, and that's going to secure the kill. So no rewind available. Honey Badger looking for more, but they're not going to find it. Alfie caught out on an island. They're going to go down as well. Honey Badger in Avatar with Hardened Shield popped can tank a lot of these towers without too much trouble. W-Star chooses to get that leap of faith to draw them out. Drag onto Sonya. She uses her level 20 upgrade Striding Giant to get out of there, granting Sonya unstoppable. And she's gone for a full spin build, not something I would have expected from the Sonya player, given Conflicted is his name, given all of the CC available to Gambit Gaming. And with their heroes still waiting to respawn for another 15 seconds, Gambit Gaming are unlikely going to be able to contest this shrine. That's going to give KFF their first plant terror phase, and their waves are in a pretty strong position. So this could do a lot of damage. Holy cow, Northern Touch blew up. Oh, they were probably looking for opportunistic Entomb, but they did not respect all of the damage that KFF now can leverage with all that percent damage that we talked about. Farflight Quiver online for Hax also means that Vala can position much more safely. Hax able to hit this keep. Ooh, a miss. And followed up by a bunch of CC onto the Muradin there. They're silenced. It's thanks to Respect the Elderly. They do make it out alive. Hogger taking a lot of damage from Vala here on the backside. 2 heroes stunned though, catches Krogden. Conflicted looking for these kills. Northern will respawn. They land the W, engaging their Burning Rage talent at level 20, Burning Despair, but it's another kill going over to Kentucky Fried Falstad. 2 heroes spear lands onto Conflicted and Hax, but Hax can keep kiting relatively safely. Pearl Simon able to get another spear thanks to their level 1 and 20 synergy there. But with Decker dead and only Chelsea alive, that is going to be a fight win and game win going over to Kentucky Fried Falstad. So we will be tied up 1-1 here in our series. Really well played in the late game for our home team. Well played to them. Awesome. It looked grim there in the beginning. Oops All Bruisers is a notoriously challenging composition to deal with given how beefy they are and how much CC they can leverage. But in the end, all of the percent damage that got unlocked as the talents climbed for Kentucky Fried Falstad was the special sauce they needed. We can take a look at our post-game stats here to see kind of the tail of the tape, and the 86,000 damage done by Hax on the Vala kind of tells the whole tale there, as well as the kill count. I was not expecting it to swing so heavily in favor of KFF there in the late game, but it really was all the blue team all the time after that level 16 talent tier unlocked. And once again, that's thanks largely to Giant Slammer on Sonya, Manticore on Vala, and Alpha Wolf on Thrall. Any other talents stick out to me? Nothing too surprising here. No control from Hogger, Contagion from Dahaka. Ooh, Unrelenting Descent from Imperius, opting for the Storm talent upgrade for their heroic. Gives you a lot of in-fight sustain, as well as CDR on that talent. Alrighty, let's head over to our map select. Take a look at what battleground we might be headed to next. And we've seen 2 battlegrounds here that are available pretty typically in competitive Heroes leagues and tournaments. I'll be interested to see if either Gambit or KFF opt to take us to one of the more oddball maps. Maybe one of them has a well-labbed out take on how to optimize Warhead Junction. Perhaps someone knows the right way to collect coins and pay them on Blackheart's Bay. It's anyone's guess. And the joy of Nexomania as a tournament series. Another huge shout out to CCS for hosting this tournament series. They are a great organization, and you can check them out at their Discord. Should be... Oh, that didn't work. Oh well. I guess that chat command is not programmed the way I thought it was. And... alright. Looks like we will have our next lobby set up here. Where are we going to? For Game 3. To decide the series, also. So we were always going to play all 3 maps, all 3 games of the series, given the tournament format of Nexo. But this is a true deciding one. So we'll see who comes out victorious in this Game 3 here. and it looks like, alright, we are headed to Sky Temple as selected by Kentucky Fried Falstad. So, no truly oddball maps, although Sky Temple certainly sees a lot less play than most other quote-unquote traditional battlegrounds. Lots of teams do not favor it because of its lack of interactivity, I suppose. If one team is able to secure an early lead, they are incentivized to not fight, which can make for really interesting macro decisions, but doesn't necessarily make for the most interesting gameplay according to certain hero players. I think it's a fun map, but that's just me. All right. Zerg porn calling out Chelsea's tongues. Yeah, the drags from Chelsea there in that garden game, absolutely insane. Really strong showing from them on the hero, as well as connecting with their isolations. Both drag and isolation are pretty tricky skill shots to hit, and it really amps up the threat that Dahaka brings when you can reliably land all of that CC. Both the silence and the slow and the vision denial from their heroic is pretty awesome. So always exciting to see a strong Dahaka player there. Another great battleground for Dahaka, Sky Temple is, that is. So we'll see how KFF kind of approach this draft with that in mind. I imagine we will see another Maiev ban. Keeping Pearl Simon off the Maiev feels very important. Gambit Gaming sticking to their guns, going with another Blaze ban. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Can't say I blame them. And there's that Maiev ban. Really the only response that I imagine KFF have available to them. Hacks being able to pick away the Vala last game was a great draft move, but if your team doesn't have a Maiev player, she is certainly not a hero that you can kind of just pick up and give a whirl. She is pretty mechanically demanding, so the best way to deal with her, I agree with Kentucky Fried Falstad, is through the ban screen. Gambit Gaming don't want to first pick the Vala, and they don't want KFF to have it either. Hacks performed very well on the hero last game, especially into the later half. So not surprising to see that struck by Gambit Gaming and Hogger, the ban. So Chelsea still has Dahaka available to them. Globals on Sky Temple are pretty important. Falstad, of course, once again, the eponymous Falstad would be a great pickup for either team. I think Gambit Gaming play it, but I know, based on my scouting, that Kentucky Fried Falstad definitely have a preference for it. There's the Brightwing first pick, so we can already see that global preference. The fastest Joanna Anduin you ever did see. The first time that Joe has been available for Kentucky Fried Falstad, it is definitely a comfort pick for them. One that they have relatively high success with based on the scouting data I was able to find on them. So not too surprising to see them pick it up, especially given how strong the hero is as the game scales into the later half. Sylvanas and Anubarak are excellent pickups for the battleground here. The macro pressure that you can apply by generating siege through either black arrows or spawning beetles with Anubarak's trait really makes your split pushing strategy more flexible. and you don't necessarily have to be as reliant on the objective to get structure damage. Missed ban there from KFF. I imagine that was not intentional. If I had to guess who I would have banned if I were in that position, I would have gone with the Dahaka ban, if it were me. I guess we'll never know. And there's the Ragnaros ban. Gambit Gaming did not like the macro pressure that Conflicted was able to put on with Lava Wave in Game 1. So, Yrel's still available, Sonya's still available. Both damage players having yet to select here. We might see a Jaina, we could see... There's the Falstad. Yeah, absolutely a powerhouse on the map. Boss control is of such importance on Sky Temple, and Falstad checks 2 boxes, both the global box and the boss control box. So a great pickup for KFF. Offlane and flex picks available here for Gambit Gaming. I'll be interested to see. I expect to see the Dahaka here. It's going to be Sonya instead. All right. As well as Greymane. Greymane pairing with the Anubarak, a pretty classic run around and hit buildings composition. And Kentucky Fried Falstad don't have the best anti-siege with Orphea. I don't think they'll be able to fix it here with this offlane pick. This is the first time Malthael has not been banned, so it is going to be the Yrel instead. A little bit more of a meta selection there. Can't say I'm surprised to see it. So let's take a look here at our drafts. If it comes down to fighting over a boss, I really like Kentucky Fried Falstad's draft. Yrel with her Righteous Hammer and Falstad with Gust both bring a great amount of objective point displacement. Orphea can also do a fair bit of damage onto the control point if she opts for Eternal Feast. But Gambit Gaming don't, strictly speaking, have to play that game. They have set themselves up for a potentially devastating split push with the Sylvanas Anubarak Greymane combination. So we'll see how both teams play it out here in our tiebreaker last game of the evening. And let's introduce the teams for the last time. Here on the left, we've got Kentucky Fried Falstad, Conflicted on Yrel, Hax on Orphea, Krogdon playing Falstad, W-Star on Anduin, and Honey Badger on Johanna. To the right in red, we've got Gambit Gaming, Krizzo on Brightwing, Pearl Simon on Sylvanas, Northern Touch on Anubarak, Chelsea on the Sonya, and Alfie going for Greymane. And we've got Gambit Gaming already starting off with this rotation to bot lane. They're going to try and get as much structure damage as early as possible, but KFF are here for the rotation in time. Hax going for Q at level 1. Alfie taking so much damage here, as is Krizzo. Alfie will go down. First blood going over to Kentucky Fried Falstad. So Gambit Gaming were able to get about half of a tower there, but it came at the cost of their Greymane. As well as a fair bit of experience there in top lane. We've got Krogdon here stalling rotations so that the top wave will at least partially get missed for Gambit Gaming. Northern Touch now taking so much damage. One more auto could do it. They aren't going to fall there. Krogdon unable to get that last auto over the wall. Checking in on our talents, we've got Q build from Krogdon on Falstad, going for the Gathering Storm quest at level 1. On point for Orphea. Not one that I am used to seeing, but I'm sure it's a plenty good talent. Northern Touch doing a little bit of scouting, trying to slow down Kentucky Fried Falstad from potentially invading. Their early game kill did give them a little bit of a lead here on the macro side of things, but of course Gambit Gaming are evening that out, leveraging their global healer, doing a lot to get the waves pushing in their favor and make up for the missing experience they had there. We've got a cheeky play coming out from Gambit Gaming up on the top left of the battleground. Alfie, seeing all 5 of KFF on the map, is, rather than doing their own cruiser camp, opting for the invade here. I don't think Conflicted is going to check him on it, and that's... Alfie will be very low, though, so they're going to have to hearth out. No one from Kentucky Fried Falstad is going to be able to make the rotation. So, an excellent denial for Gambit Gaming. That minion push is something that a lot of teams really like to have. Pearl Simon narrowly misses another trip to the graveyard there, falling below 100 HP. Level 4 on both sides. We've got Unstable Poison from Pearl Simon, once again amping up the wave clear available to Sylvanas. And we've got Alfie starting up on the right side bruiser camp here. Chelsea very low, no spin available. Conflicted has the body blocks, and Krogdon will secure the kill right as the temples spawn. So this is definitely going to alleviate a little bit of this camp pressure here that Gambit Gaming are going to be able to leverage in the top lane. Krogdon trading onto Alfie now, and there's the phase shift in, so no more experience available from side soaking. Alfie kind of caught on the wrong side of the engagement here. Another great boop from Conflicted secures a 3rd kill for Kentucky Fried Falstad. Gambit Gaming doing a great job to get this camp out and push with it, but in the end, a faster rotation to the top shrine from the rest of Kentucky Fried Falstad net another kill and more objective progress. Relatively even trade, or relatively evenly traded on the mid objective here, but on the top side, it's all Kentucky Fried Falstad. They are definitely pretty sizably in the lead from a structural health standpoint. Level 7s on both sides. We've got Honey Badger opting for Divine Steed, and Pearl Simon and Chelsea might look to use the black arrows here. Checking in on mid, we've got Northern, Alfie, and Krizzo trying to press their advantage as much as they can. Honey Badger catches Alfie with the slow. They are able to roll away. On the top side, Krogdon and Conflicted able to confirm the capture on top fort. So, periodic catapult pressure will be mounting in the top lane. Gambit Gaming do have a global, but it's not necessarily the one that you would pick for anti-siege. Neck and neck on XP here. Gambit Gaming able to get a fair bit of damage onto this bot fort wall. That means if they're able to secure next objective, it'll definitely get through that bottom fort. But as I mentioned, top lane is going to require Gambit Gaming's pretty constant attention. The Soothing Mist Cleanse comes out from Krizzo. Stun onto 2. Death for Orphea there. First blood for Gambit Gaming, or rather first kill that they are able to secure. And right before the objective spawns. Of course, worth noting that Orphea will be up for this next objective phase, so it's not such an important stagger kill, but it does help put them a little bit further ahead in experience. Checking in on our heroics. Northern in onto Krogdon there. W-Star does still have the Leap of Faith available. No harm, no foul. Ardent Defender, Crushing Jaws, Gust, Light Bomb, and Blessed Shield for Kentucky Fried Falstad, and for Gambit Gaming, Blink Heal, Wailing Arrow, Cocoon, Leap, and Cursed Bullet. Conflicted still in the top lane, so a faster rotation from our Sonya player. And that's going to cause... Oh, there's the cocoon onto Anduin. They will peel themselves with the Light Bomb and the Crushing Jaws. That's a great gust, getting 3, but Chelsea is able to leap out onto Krogden. Honey Badger really far forward here, able to get away with their Unstoppable. Conflicted all the while, split pushing up in top lane. Northern Touch taking so much damage! But Hax is going to be the one to fall. Alfie doing a great job knowing the limits on the Greymane, and they're not done yet, chasing onto Krogdon there and keeping their attack speed buff running. They will eat a slow from Honey Badger, and that may end their push, but W-Star is out of mana and now out of HP. So all the kills going over to Gambit Gaming, but all the while, Conflicted was able to secure at least half of the top keep wall. I don't know that it was worth it, since Gambit Gaming are going to be able to get this boss relatively quickly thanks to their Greymane. KFF are all alive. There's the cocoon onto Yrel. Yrel's looking for a kill here, trying to get aggressive. They do still have Gust available, so this posturing is definitely tricky. Really excellent vision play from both of them. Hax and Krogdon on the wrong side of the fight, but they will get the Gust in time. So the boss steal successful for KFF. Understanding their strength that we talked about at the beginning during the draft analysis, all of that boss control they bring with Gust and Yrel's Righteous Hammer, there was no reason for them not to step up there. Really heads up play from them. And that's going to put them ahead to level 13s. This is where the Johanna damage really starts to ramp up. And Gambit Gaming are going to look to recontest here. Krogdon able to barrel roll their way to safety. And it gives Gambit Gaming a little bit of a consolation prize on this objective. They will secure this bot fort, but not necessarily the outcome they were looking for on the boss point. Checking in on our experience. We've got hero experience heavily in favor of Gambit Gaming, but the minion and structure experience definitely on the side of KFF. Honey Badger eats the Cursed Bullet, and with level 13's Alfie is able to chase a lot more effectively thanks to their on-the-prowl movement speed buff. This is a 4-on-5 in favor of KFF, but Joe is very low, drawing both the Leap of Faith and the Gust out of Krogdon. All the while, Chelsea has been able to even out some of this experience deficit through all of the minion XP. Leap in onto 2, Polymorph follow-up. Orphea explodes in an instant. Honey Badger will make it out alive. They had their Unstoppable. Alfie falling low here. They're going to go down to an auto from Krogdon. Pearl Simon focusing on the mid fort will secure it. No more Iron Skin. And there's the Polymorph. They're going to get another kill. Fantastic turnaround here from Gambit Gaming. Conflicted was working on the top camp, and they will secure it, but now they are in an awkward position. There is a little bit of CC available to them, but it looks like they're going to make it out just fine. Doubles Shrine phase unlocking here in the next 20 seconds. Still an experience lead on the side of Kentucky Fried Falstad. So the mercenary experience and the passive experience definitely putting them just that narrow bit ahead to level 16 and this next talent tier. The pressure that Urel can now put on the front line of Gambit Gaming with her Templar's Verdict at level 16, offering both an armor shred and percent damage option, is pretty serious. With how much structure damage Kentucky Fried Falstad was able to secure in the early game, and even trade does favor them, but base racing against a Sylvanas Greymane, especially a Greymane with Eager Wolf, means that you are not going to win it. We can see that right here with the top keep going down before bottom keep is able to be secured. And Gambit Gaming are all in here. The leap misses, and Alfie is falling very low here. If they're able to keep their Greymane alive, they're not gonna. Silence here onto the Urel, but they will pop Ardent Defender and live. 2 kills onto Gambit Gaming. Northern Touch goes down for a third. Kentucky Fried Falstad likely to run towards bottom lane and look to end before the respawns. We can hear the fly from Krogden going straight to the siege camp. I would love to see them just press straight to core, and that's what we're going to see from them. No heroics outside of the light bomb available to Kentucky Fried Falstad, but with no leap available for Sonya, they do not have a lot of lockdown on the side of Gambit Gaming. So there's the Greymane respawn. They can really amp up the pressure that they put on, but with double blind from and a great gust just to buy space from Krogden. The Kentucky Fried Falstad hero name was not chosen randomly. They're able to get the win with some really great gust plays and secure the 2-1 victory for the home team. GG and well played. An absolute nail-biter there with that contentious boss fight. I think it made a lot of sense for Gambit Gaming to look for it, because they do, in theory, with the Sylvanas Greymane, have a lot of boss burn. But in the end, they were a little slow to rotate to it, and that opened the window for Kentucky Fried Falstad to leverage their excellent boss control and take the upper hand on the battleground. Taking a look at our post-game stats here, we can see respectable damage on both sides and a dead-even game in the kill feed, but in the end, the Hail Mary on core that Gambit Gaming aimed for was all for naught. Alfie falling down to about half HP before the defense from Kentucky Fried Falstad was able to come in and make a huge difference. Checking in on our builds, a game that didn't go to 20. Another exciting reason that Sky Temple is a fun one if you're the sort of person who misses games that didn't always go to 20. I'm going to try and get in touch with our winning team to see if they don't want to do an interview. And depending, we may have a little bit of a winner's interview. So that should be an exciting one. Taking a look at the series as it unfolded, the Infernal Shrines game was handily won by Gambit Gaming. And it looked like they were off to a really hot start there in the early going of Garden of Terror. But in the end, with all of their talents unlocked, they were able to swing the team fights in their favor, get a lot of decisive kills onto Oops All Bruisers, the experimental frontline heavy composition that Gambit Gaming brought to the battleground. And the last game was absolutely neck and neck. The sort of nail-biting ending that you would hope for a close series like this. So a really strong showing from both teams. Looks like I am not finding conflicted. So we'll try another way. And what more can we say about this series? It was great to see these teams and it looks like we will get an interview here, so let me just swap over to that scene so everyone can hear you. Welcome, and GG's there. How are you feeling after your win?
Yeah, we're super pumped up, and it was a lot of fun, and that's part of why I missed your messages and stuff, is because I am a terrible captain, and I just start paying attention to everything else instead of messages coming my way, so sorry about the wait.
That is A-okay. I mean, celebrating with the team is one of the many joys of being on a team, right? So,
yeah.
Sky Temple, absolute nail-biter. Well, you know what? Let's go through the games in order. First one, Infernal Shrines, map selection by Gambit Gaming. Is this a battleground that you, as a team, feel comfortable on? I noticed there was no Hogger ban. I guess that's my real question. No Hogger ban in the first ban phase from y'all.
Yeah, I forgot what we banned, but we weren't... I mean, obviously, there's always a risk to have a Hogger first pick. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and say it. It doesn't matter. That Gambit Gaming kind of figured out like at least my personal strategy against this kind of thing is that it's kind of like if they go Hogger, it's okay because I can just Malthael, and I will have an advantage not only against the Hogger solo, but like Malthael's very good in his own right on this map.
Mm-hmm.
But they like either researched or just know that, and they I think they third banned Malthael.
Yep.
And I was like, shit. They were actually catching all of my offlane picks. Either they were picking what I wanted or banning what I wanted.
Yeah, they definitely had
it was crazy.
A pretty heavy prioritization on narrowing your hero pool. You know, we saw that through the Blaze bans, the Malthael bans, the early... I think they picked away Urel at least once.
No, they picked Hogger twice. Well, the second game was like all bruisers.
Yeah, oops, all bruisers.
But the third game, they banned... I'm trying to think what I was about to play that they did ban what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, what was it?
It might have been the Malthael again.
No, I thought it was something different. But anyway, whatever. They had my number on the bans and the picks, like, so they were taking my shit or picking it, and that did put me off balance, especially game one. Like you're saying, Infernal Shrine. That was kind of a we were trying it out to see how we would play with Rag, but I think we I don't know, we didn't quite pull off our own idea very well, and they pulled off their idea very well. The Malfurion, Maiev, ETC. Oh my god.
Yeah, the root follow up to every Umbral bind, and Pearl Simon's like always finding the right heroes to tether. Really nasty. Really well played by Gambit Gaming in that first one. Game two, I was kind of nervous for y'all. The early going of it definitely was pretty Gambit Gaming favored, but then once level 16s came round with Giant Slammer and Manticore and Alpha Wolf, it turned so heavily in your favor. In that early game, when things aren't going so well for you guys, what are comms like? Do you feel confident? Guys, we just need to scale. Like, what's the atmosphere like for y'all in that situation?
It's my team feeding, and then Hacks and myself saying, "Stop feeding."
Great. Yeah.
No, I mean it was stressful because they were getting it done in the early game, and it's not like it was surprising. We literally were saying to each other like, "Hey, they're probably going to be way stronger than us early to mid game. Just like don't die."
Hmm.
But I guess that's easier said than done because we died a lot,
Sure.
and and yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you play 5 melee, which is what this is, by the way,
Yep.
Deckard counts as a melee.
100%.
It means that all of the players on your team, and if you do it well, I guess I should say if you do it well, which they did, it means that all of your players are individually skilled and individually good players, which I think that's Gambit Gaming's biggest strength, is that each player is like very, very good individually.
Hmm.
And it was really hard to deal with like any of them at any given moment. So no, that was hard. But yeah, we were just trying to like pump each other up and be like, all right, that's fine that everybody fed and died there, but like just wait, don't fall too far behind, and eventually Vala will be able to. Vala plus I think Thrall and dare I say Sonya, even though I kept getting Daga kept silencing me and getting me killed. But
Chelsea was absolutely nuts.
every time we every time I got hit by the damn, what is it called? The
Isolation. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, hey guys, I don't see or hear anything, so
Yeah,
I hope you're doing well.
laser guided isolations from Chelsea. Really well played from them on the Dahaka. But yeah, I agree. Getting to 16 for y'all, that was all it needed to be. Getting all of that percent damage into their heavy front line, I think, made all the difference. And then for game 3, I was talking about it as we were loading into Sky Temple, about how if it comes down to a fight over boss, I really like what KFF have going for them. Both the Falstad and the Urel bringing so much point control. When you lost that fight on Bot Shrine, I think it was on Bot Shrine, and they went for the boss, I found myself thinking, man, if I'm KFF, I'm kind of licking my chops. Did you guys expect them to go for that boss play, or did that catch you off guard, given how strong you guys felt on that point?
It did not catch us off guard, but we were worried about it because I think they had a advantage in terms of they were there first and they had maybe numbers advantage, but we did have the Falstad and we had like Urel. We did not have a Urel Unstoppable yet, but we had like I knew that I could jump on there and press R at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But even so, they were like a millimeter from capping it. For a split second, I thought that they actually got it. And then
Chelsea's flank looking for Krogdun on the top left side of the boss pit was definitely some heads-up play. I don't remember who from y'all scouted out that rotation, but I think that made all the difference, making sure that Falstad couldn't be interrupted for too long in the gust.
Well, that's other people's issue because I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I just tried to jump on it and be like, okay, now's the time.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're on Urel, that's half the joy of playing the hero, right? You're like, all right, I get to go stand where I'm not supposed to now.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times, and this goes for everybody, but a lot for Urel is, and anybody that dives the backline kind of alone, I don't see what my team does a lot of times. I just kind of trust that they're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of infer what's happening based on how many people I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So anyway, I trusted them to get it done, and they did. Like Krogdun was calling that he was the shot caller there for a few seconds, just being like, yeah, we've got, because Honey Badger is usually directing us and doing a good job, and then. Yeah, Krogdun was like, yeah, we got Gus. Like, go in there. Let's see what we got.
Awesome.
And, it worked out for us.
Yeah. Of course, it ended up being a Hail Mary from Gambit Gaming on the core there. They were able to get through the shields and some of the HP, but in the end, they were unable to keep their Grey Man alive, and you guys were able to march across and finish off the game. A game that ended before 20. Pretty exciting, right?
Yeah, a little bit surprising, I guess, for Sky Temple. I mean, it's like you say, it's only because they went for the win, maybe a little too prematurely. Like, you know, just the way it worked out. Like, they saw that we had people still hitting the keep, and they were like, and they made the call to go for it. But
another clutch gust from Krogdon there.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure W Star also got the route onto Alfie's Greymane and able to secure that kill. That's a big one for y'all.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, W Star be happy to hear that. We forced him onto a healer those last 2 games.
Gotcha.
And we were yelling at him like, "Give me light bomb or give me the pull," and he's like, kind of new to our team, so he's like, "Dude, I don't know."
Yeah, who is me?
Who's me? Like, so, W Star, shout out to W Star. He had a really hard time tonight, but I think he did really well though. Into it.
I would agree. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to keep talking your ear off. I want to give you the opportunity to give any shout outs before you go back and continue celebrating with your team. Floor's yours.
Yeah, no, shout out to you. Thanks for casting. I love it when games are casted. It makes the community feel more alive, and everybody loves to go back and rewatch the games with a caster over it. Shout out to Gambit Gaming. Thanks for playing with us. You guys are a scary bunch, and hopefully we'll see you in the upcoming NGS season. Although I think that Gambit Gaming is West Coast, so maybe we won't, but we'll see how it goes. And then shout out to W Star and Silverbell for filling it. Silverbell saved us from a possible forfeit for she came in and played game 1 for us and did a good job. And yeah, we were scrambling tonight. So yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome. Yeah, always got to shout out the subs. I respect it. Well, thank you again for the interview, Conflicted. Have a great rest of your evening.
You as well. We'll see ya.
Take care. And that's going to do it here for the series. Thanks to everyone for sticking around, getting to hear how Conflicted felt about that series. A real nail-biter, lots of back and forth. Great to see these teams so well balanced with one another in Nexomania. If you're looking for more HOTS, there is another match coming up after this. I will not be casting, but you can head over to watch Raka's stream. There is another block of games set up for 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Western. So that will be in the next 15 minutes or so. Before I sign off, I want to give some shout-outs of my own to all of the artists, musicians, and programmers whose work I use and feature here on the stream. The stream wouldn't look at all good without all of their hard work, and so I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. You can check out their work in chat with the !credits command. I've also got all of their information linked below the video here, so do go check them out. They are really talented and have a lot to offer. Until next time, you all have been wonderful. Thank you for tuning in. Good luck, have fun, peace, and love.